Welcome, everyone, to Richard Diltz Field for the homecoming edition. High Top Sports brings you the Kiski area Cavaliers and the West Allegheny Indians. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. I'm your host, Mark Flem, alongside Mason Flanagan. Mason, battle of the unbeatens tonight. Are you excited for this one?
Oh, yeah, big non-conference matchup here Kiski's hosting tonight. Not a better night to host it than homecoming. As, you know, you get some alumni, the big dance coming up this weekend. So it'll be a great environment, and hey, no better way to go into conference play than, you know, staying unbeaten.
I agree with you. Homecoming tonight always brings an element of excitement, but when you have two teams that come into the game undefeated, certainly that's just another cherry on the sundae, if you will. Kiski area comes into tonight's game 4-0, having beaten Connellsville last week at home 41-7, while West Allegheny comes into the contest 3-0 with a shutout victory 24-0 over Shaler. It's going to be real interesting to see tonight a lot of different areas, if you will, to focus on in tonight's game on both sides of the ball. Certainly when you talk about the Cavaliers this year, you got to start with their defense.
Yeah, the defense, as we saw just last week, you know, I didn't get too much time on it with you, Mark, but still running the camera, you saw they shut down Connellsville. There was not a lot of hope for the Eagle offense last week. It's just suffocating on that defense. Keep your offense on the field. Give them as many opportunities as you can. That's what Kiski's done so well so far this season.
Yeah, Kiski comes into the contest allowing just over 10 points per game defensively, and a host of players that have contributed on the defensive side of the ball. Certainly, when you talk about defense, you want to talk about the two middle linebackers for Kiski area, Braden Dunmeyer and Brock Wilkins. But if you stop the story there, it would be severely incomplete. You've had several players this season that have contributed, including Big Sam Coleman, who won High Top Player of the Game, High Top Sports Player of the Game, I believe, in week 2. And many other players that have contributed with fumbles and interceptions. Carter Diltz, Isaiah Gonzalez, Dom Danino, and, of course, new addition to the defensive line, Brandon Lawhorn, more beef in the center of that defensive line. So many contributors on the defensive side for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Mark, there's no better nickname than beef for being on the line. It just goes so well. And I tried not to laugh when you made that. It's a great nickname, you know?
It is. And anybody that doesn't know beef out there, we're talking about a 6'6", 295-pound senior who's getting looks from Division I schools for his skills and abilities on the offensive line, but certainly has been a major focal point or a major centerpiece, if you will, for the Cavaliers' defensive line. On defense as well, two other names that I didn't mention, Matt Hilty and LeBrin Smith. Those two players, I'm getting reports that they should be back from injury tonight. Both players were out last week. LeBrin Smith is one of the starting cornerbacks, and Matt Hilty plays basically like a linebacker, defensive back hybrid position. Both of those players should be in the starting lineup tonight. So, again, a whole laundry list of players for the Cavaliers on the defensive side.
Yes, sounds like a great team effort we can see from Kiski, especially getting those players back from injury. Everybody, if they're back at their full 100% skill, this could be a lethal shootout on both offense and defense for Kiski, as the coaching staff and everybody just turning this team into a powerhouse here at 5A.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight. As we said, Kiski comes in 4-0, having beaten Connellsville, who is winless, I believe, in their last 11 contests. They beat Latrobe at Latrobe by a touchdown, so certainly a back-and-forth game. And I would have to say, based on just predictions from outsiders, and not the outsiders certainly don't always know what's going on within the teams, but a somewhat of a surprising win over Franklin Regional in week 1. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of Kiski team do we have. is this a team that is everything that their 4-0 record shows, or are there hidden flaws? And I say that because West Allegheny comes in with an offense that is certainly going to test that Cavalier defense, led by senior quarterback Gavin Miller. I was reading an article from one of the local players. Gavin Miller said it's like playing Madden with some of the skilled players that he has on his side. So when you hear a quarterback who threw for over 1,500 yards in 7 games last year talk about it's like playing Madden, that's something that you take alert to.
Yeah, if being on a defensive side, having to defend against that, that's intimidating, Mark.
Yes.
It's very intimidating.
Big time.
You can't let that get into your head, and you got to go out there and you got to think, okay, how do I beat this guy? And that's hopefully what the past week of preparation has been. And I'll give all credit to Coach Sam Albert. He's putting together a great team, and hopefully for the local area they can come through and it can be a really competitive game tonight.
The West Allegheny offense has put up over 100 points in their first 3 games, again led by senior quarterback Gavin Miller, who incidentally he actually has an offer to play baseball at Auburn. I don't know if you know that, but certainly he's athletic, and if anything, football isn't even his primary sport. So as I said, a senior quarterback threw for over 1,500 yards last season and is well on his way to another successful season this year. He also has with him a junior running back, Nauden Tracy, who last week ran for just under 100 yards, and as a junior is already getting looks from several D2 and D3 schools. And at at wide receiver, he has a senior, Jay Sean Spencer, who led the team last year in receptions with just under 700 yards, and again is the leading receiver for the Indians this season. So the Indians' offense certainly going to give a test to that Cavalier D.
Yes, Mark, I noticed you said Jay Sean Spencer. When I look at my stats, I see he's also got some rushing yards as well, so you're going to watch there's some extra threats in there as well. He could cut in, grab the ball, and sneak down the field for...
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game tonight, as we said, homecoming edition. As you could see on your monitor electronic device, wherever you're watching, we had the homecoming court come through here a little while ago. We will certainly be having the homecoming ceremonies throughout the broadcast. And before we get into a little bit deeper tonight's contest, let's take a quick break. We're about 20 minutes away from the opening kickoff. You're listening to the home of Cavalier football, High Top Sports Network.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Welcome back to Richard Dilts Field as we are about 18 minutes away from tonight's homecoming contest between the West Allegheny Indians and the Kiski area Cavaliers. I'm Mark Flem alongside Mason Flanagan, and if you're just tuning in, we were talking a little bit about the Kiski defense and the handful they're going to have tonight going against a West Allegheny offense that has put over 100 points up on the board in their first three contests. West Allegheny comes into tonight's contest after beating Shaler 24-0. So far this season, West Allegheny has beaten Shaler, Montour, and Trinity. Their closest game has been 11 points. So West Allegheny certainly coming in here with the credentials on paper. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out tonight here at Kiski area.
Yeah, it seems like on paper I see if you're a Kiski defender, you want to try to barrel it down on just Jay-Sean Spencer and Noden Tracy. Spencer has 4 touchdowns and Tracy has 5, but there's 3 other Indians with 1 touchdown apiece. So you want to focus on who are the biggest scorers. If you can match them up, we'll see. What else does quarterback Gavin Miller have in his arsenal? Who else can he go to? And we'll see. Does he have an answer to that?
And on paper, we talked about West Allegheny looking the part. But as you dissect teams, you can certainly find areas that teams can maybe take advantage of and or weaknesses that may not show up in a box score. I was looking over last week's game and watching some film, reading some articles about West Allegheny's game with Shaler, and they were up 17-0 in the first half and only put up another touchdown in the second half as Gavin Miller threw 2 interceptions. So it could have been one of those things where, you know, the kids or the players got a little bit relaxed and kind of mailed it in the second half. But I know their head coach was talking about they haven't played a full game all year long. So you can look at that 2 ways and say, well, they haven't played a full game all year long. Wow, there's a lot more in the tank. Or, hey, this is a team that hasn't played a full game and there are weaknesses to be found.
Yeah, that's a great point, Marcus. You can't get complacent out there on the field. Or you can't be complacent and you have to play all 4 quarters. If not, are you getting tired or are you just not putting in your effort the whole game? Or what's going on there? You know, that's a good way. Shaler could have come back and if they had all the right tools necessary in that second half. Going in and out of the locker room is a tough adjustment to make. You could go in on a high note and come out, you know, feeling sluggish. You go in, you know, maybe you didn't get that touchdown you wanted to score before going in, and you maybe don't have the energy that you had at the start of the game.
West Allegheny, as I said, is 3-0 so far throughout the season. That matches their win total of all last season in the abbreviated season to boot. 3-4 West Allegheny was, but there's a lot of high hopes for Indians fans this year, as many of them throughout several publications have talked about winning a WPIAL title. Now, obviously, West Allegheny is no stranger to success, as they have won 8 WPIAL championships in football school history on the football side. So when you hear West Allegheny talking about a WPIAL championship, I would say they probably just don't use those terms loosely.
Yeah, the tools are all there, and the history's there, but it's still young in the season. Still non-conference matchups.
Correct. So we're going to take a quick break here, but we're going to keep it live as we get set about 14 minutes away from the game, get set for our national anthem. Please stay tuned and listening to your award-winning Kiski area marching band.
Now, let us all stand and celebrate our freedoms as our Kiski area marching band plays our national anthem. Please remain standing for the playing of the the alma mater. And thank you.
As we said numerous times here on the High Top Sports Network, the band is equally as important as the players in football, or the football players on the field, and there's none better than the Kiski area marching band. So always great to hear anything coming out of the Kiski area marching band. Certainly something when it's saluting America. So great job as always from the Kiski area students. Let's get back to talking about tonight's contest. We're just under 10 minutes away from the opening kickoff. We were talking a good bit about the West Allegheny offense, and I think it's only fair if we switch sides and talk about the Cavalier offense, especially the way that quarterback Logan Johnson has been performing the last 2 weeks. Senior Logan Johnson came into the season, and there was a question at who was going to be the starting quarterback, and I believe after week 1, all of those questions have been put to rest. The last 2 weeks, Logan Johnson has rushed for more than 2 touchdowns in each game while throwing 1 or less interceptions. Something that has plagued him the last 2 years is untimely interceptions. And certainly we've seen a few of them throughout the season, but Logan Johnson has been the catalyst or the steady leader that the Cavalier offense has needed.
Yes, Johnson seemed like a great leader in the past few weeks that I've been able to watch him. A couple interceptions, but nothing too concerning. 26 for 47, 402 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. So he's got the arm to do it. He's got some good running. He's got some good running plays as well, over 100 yards there. So, yeah, he's a great guy to lead this team.
Dual threat, as you mentioned. He can do it on the ground and in the air. Through the air, we expected Calvin Heinley to be the main receiving threat for the Cavaliers this year, and to his credit, Calvin has been very solid on the offensive side. But we've also seen several other players step up and really add to this Cavalier offense. And again, we'd have to go back to leading receiver Matthew Hilty. Matt Hilty has been a major addition to this Cavalier offense after being injured through a good portion of last season. And we saw Dylan Hutcherson step up last week with 3 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. So between Heinley, Hilty, and Hutcherson, we got to come up with some kind of nickname with those H's.
Yeah, it just goes to show all these weapons that Kiski's had so far this season. There's so many, and it all ends up being a team win every week. They put all the weapons together, and it's the whole team. No matter who it is you put them out there, it seems like they can do a great job.
We may have to reach out to Tees and Tops, our local T-shirt provider, and get them on the High Top Sports slate and come up with some kind of T-shirt for the 3 H's. The 3H Club, if you will. Heinley, Hilty, and Hutcherson have been a great piece to the Cavalier offense. Maybe we need to add a 4H. We forgot one, arguably the most important person on the Cavalier offense, and that's C.J. Hepler.
Yeah, you cannot forget about C.J. Hepler. I mean, what a year he's been having so far. I mean, nobody's more exciting when they run the football that I've seen all season in high school football. Can you stop the guy? I mean.
And here's the crazy part, and I apologize to all our listeners out there. I said CJ took a year or 2 off football. This is his first time playing football since 8th grade.
Yeah.
I didn't realize his layoff has been that long. So you talk about C.J. Hepler. Last week he rushed for over 140 yards. The week before against Latrobe, he had right around, I believe, 150 or 160 yards. In each of those 2 games, he also rushed for 2 touchdowns. So the 4H club, when you talk about C.J. Hepler, and the Kiski offense has been firing on all cylinders.
And here we go. The teams will be heading out onto the field here shortly. We hear Enter Sandman.
The traditional entry music for the Cavaliers. Kiski area comes into the game, as we said, off a 41-7 victory over Connellsville. Their offense has been equally impressive this season, as they are averaging right around 28 points per game. Kiski area has put up at least 3 touchdowns in all 4 of their games. As I said, led by last week's High Top Sports Player of the game, Logan Johnson. Want to bring up one of our new additions to our sponsorship group, and that's Ramsey's Place. Ramsey's Place is our new sponsor for the Player of the Game. So one of these Cavaliers are going to get a free haircut this week, compliments of Ramsey's Place. And I don't know if you've ever been there, Mason, but Ramsey's Place is the place to be in the AK Valley.
I need to check it out the next time I'm in town.
Ramsey's Place is the premier barbershop in the AK Valley, located at 300 Sycamore Street in Vandergrift. Ramsey's Place also offers women's haircuts, hair coloring, manicures, pedicures, products, and more. So it's not just for the guys. Ramsey's Place has it for everybody, but for the Cavaliers tonight, it's going to be somebody's getting a free haircut.
Well, it's always good to be feeling fresh, especially every week you come out on the field, you want to feel fresh and ready to go. Nothing better than a free haircut, you know?
That's what we talked about. The owner, Nick Neighbors, and I had this discussion, and we were trying to find something that would fit, for him and his business. And we said, hey, listen, let's get these guys fresh, or at least let's get somebody fresh for that Friday night. So we got to say thank you to Ramsey's Place. We also added 2 other additional sponsors to the High Top Sports Network team. Chip's Stove Shop, and of course Shevlin Concrete Construction, which we will mention to you guys throughout the evening. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And if you're a business in the area or know a business owner, please get on board with the High Top Sports Network. We are the exclusive home for Kiski area football and Kiski area sports in general throughout the year. I watched the Kiski area Plum game last night, the volleyball game, and I saw one of our fellow High Top Sports announcers in the gymnasium broadcasting that awesome volleyball game. I know we're going to be doing some basketball, some baseball. So, again, if you're a business owner in the area, please reach out to us, and we'd love to add you to our list. We are just under 3 minutes away from the opening kickoff. We are going to send you to a few of our other sponsors from around the area before we get set for the opening kick. You're listening to the High Top Sports Network.
Shop and Save at Franklin Village is a family-owned, community-dedicated supermarket with a wide variety of quality food and friendly personnel to make your shopping experience easy. Stop by their award-winning butcher shop where you'll find the freshest cuts of USDA-inspected beef, pork, and poultry. Head to the bakery for the freshest bread and rolls, and don't forget to stop by the deli for an excellent selection of cold cuts, meats, cheeses, and prepared foods like their fantastic fried chicken. That's Shop and Save at Franklin Village.
Just finishing up a 100% outside renovation project at the Botanic Store. Don't miss out. Come and see us. Check out our Pennsylvania skill game room. We have the newest machines, the newest games. We have 5 machines. We're about to add a 6th machine. $10,000 jackpots on all 6 machines. Don't miss out on a chance to win. We have the lowest possible prices and the best quality of anybody in the area. We'll take it up against anybody in the area. We put our stamp of approval, #SableMeat, on every single package, and we're here to serve you every single day. We also have chef-prepared, chef-quality prepared sushi, everyday fresh, and Sushi Wednesday, $5 sushi rolls, and you can win by liking and sharing our favorite page, Sushi Madness shirt. Don't forget to check out our millions of bakery deli products that we're making fresh every day. Appreciate all the support out there. We can't do what we do without you. Come and see us.
There we go.
Welcome back to Richard Diltz Field as we are under a minute away from the homecoming edition of High Top Sports here tonight as Kiski area 4-0 takes on West Allegheny 3-0. The battle of the unbeatens here at Richard Diltz Field, and I'm very excited for this one tonight. It's always exciting to come to the stadium and announce the games, but where else would you rather be than at Kiski area and the battle of 2 unbeaten teams?
And not much better place to be than Kiski right now. You got your homecoming game, 2 outstanding teams in the area coming together, and what a turnout. I look down into the stands and I don't see too many empty seats.
Yeah, if you look at across the way, it's kind of disappointing that the West Allegheny side is fairly empty, but looking down below us, not a lot of silver as the Kiski area fans have certainly packed it in tonight. The Cavaliers will kick off. As always, that's number 41, Cody Dykes for Kiski area. Back deep for the Indians is number 4, Jay Sean Spencer. And I believe number 27, Braden Lambert.
And O'Day Tracy.
Thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. High Top Sports Network. And we're ready to go. Onside kick. The ball is loose. The Kiski fans emphatic that the Cavaliers have the ball, and indeed they do. Kiski area with the onside kick. I apologize, I was unable to see who came up with the ball, but the officials pointed in the Cavaliers' direction, and Kiski area will take over 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line.
Michael Carini,
Hall of Fame announcer Denny Rupert saying Michael Carini on the recovery. So here we go, Cavaliers 1st and 10. And this is Logan Johnson in the gun. Brock Wilkins in motion. Hand off to Braden Dunmire. Dunmire. Gain of a few up to the 46. I mentioned Brock Wilkins' name on that play. This is the first time we'll see Brock Wilkins on the offensive side in the last 6 quarters, as he was injured in the first half of the Latrobe game and hasn't played offense since that opening half against Latrobe.
Yeah, good to see him back out there again.
Here is Wilkins, the lone tailback. That's Johnson in the gun. Going to hand off to Wilkins. Wilkins lowers his shoulder across the 45, up to maybe the 43-yard line. As I was stating, Brock Wilkins was shaken up early going against Latrobe. He has played defense since then, but that is his first carry in 6 quarters for the Cavaliers. So as you said, great to see Wilkins back on the offensive side for the Cavs. 3rd and 4 from the 42. 4 wide receivers for the Cavaliers. That's Johnson. Calling out the signal. Looks left. Fires to his left. Caught by Dylan Hutcherson. Hutcherson shakes a tackle across the 35 and wrestled out of bounds. Forward progress is going to give him the 35-yard line and a first down for Kiski area.
That's huge, converting your first 3rd down. You don't want to go out after a big onside kick and go 3 and out. You know, you're going to have a big drive to start out the game there.
So we mentioned members of the 4-H club, and the first one tonight is Dylan Hutcherson. Hutcherson, a pickup of 7 on that game, and the Cavaliers have a 1st and 10 from the 35.
There you go, your big 4-H's.
Here's Logan Johnson. Hand off to Wilkins. Wilkins, again, lowers his shoulder. Finds a little seam off that right side. And he will be down around the 34. Called to 33, so a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 with just over 9 minutes to go in the opening quarter. If you're just tuning in, the Cavaliers recovered in the opening kick, the onside kick, and they are driving into Indians territory, or deeper into Indians territory. Here's Johnson, looking left again, looking left, he fires over the middle, and the pass is incomplete, intended for the second member of the 4-H club, Calvin Hindley. Hindley had a step, but Logan Johnson wasn't able to connect.
Yeah, first time we saw a bold throw downfield like that. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get it in the hands of his man downfield. But another big 3rd down here. The Cavaliers able to convert on their first one, but here this one a lot longer, as the first 3rd down was half the distance.
Correct. The first 3rd down was 3rd and 4. This one is 3rd and 8 from the 33. That's Dunmire in motion.
Johnson.
Going to be a handoff to Wilkins. Wilkins tries that right side again and will maybe pick up 2, well short of the first down. So the Cavaliers in that dead zone of probably a little too close to punt and a little too far for a field goal. Looks like they're going to keep their offense out on the field. 4th and 5 from the 31. And that is the Cavalier offense. 4 wide receivers. That's Eddie Coleman nearest to us. Matt Hilty in motion. Johnson looking right. Quick pass to Hilty. Hilty across the 30. And approaches the first down at the 25-yard line. Flag on the play.
Let's take a look.
It looked like Hilty had enough for the first. But let's see what the flag is on. Looks like the referee nearest to Coach Sam Albert is pointing against the Cavaliers.
Penalties could negate that game and the apparent first down.
Yeah, that penalty has to hurt theirs. You know, the Cavaliers had that first down, but
To the 36-yard line.
something in the backfield there, or it was a beautiful play. Kiski's got a lot of talent with converting on 4th downs, but fortunately it's a punting situation.
You're right. That's a play we've seen week in and week out from the Cavaliers. That quick wide receiver screen. And again, it was successful, but a flag pushes that back, and the Cavaliers will be forced to punt now. That's Cody Dykes standing at midfield. The kick is a high, wobbly one. Caught at it looks like the 16-yard line, and that's where West Allegheny will take over for the first time tonight.
We'll see what West Allegheny has. Gavin Miller, we talked about him in the pregame, and what he can do. We compared him to Matt. He's compared to playing with Madden, with that whole skill set the whole team has. We'll see. Is this a Madden video game that Gavin Miller's brought with him to the stadium tonight?
Here's Gavin Miller at quarterback for the Indians.
Gavin Miller is your
I believe that's Jay Sean Spencer at wideout. Here's a carry by number 2. That's Tracy Noden.
checked out. Gage Upton.
Or excuse me, Noden Tracy. I apologize. Noden Tracy with the carry. Across the 20 up to the 21. Gain of 2 on the play.
Gain of a couple. Second.
If you missed our pregame, Noden Tracy
Long 7, let's say.
is a junior running back, and he's already getting offers from several D2 and D3 schools, so certainly somebody to watch for. Tonight, if you're the Cavaliers defenders, there is Tracy again, and just as quick as he finds a seam, he's swallowed up by several Cavaliers defenders. It looked like Brock Wilkins and Lawhorn Moore in on the stop.
Wilkins on the stop. Loss of 1.
Called a loss of 1.
Third down.
It'll bring up a 3rd and 9 with just over 7 minutes remaining.
For West Day.
Oh, Mark, there's that defense we're talking about that just swallows him up with so much pressure. There's nowhere to run there. Absolutely nowhere.
Looked like Tracy had an opening, but as you said, immediately tackled. Here's Miller, pressured from both sides and nowhere to go. Down he goes, swarmed by the Cavaliers defenders, led by C.J. Hepler. And that sack is going to force the Indians back to their 13-yard line, and the punt team will come out.
And Dilts in on that stop.
Kiski area with 2 big defensive plays for negative yards. One on junior Noden Tracy, the second a sack of senior Gavin Miller. And West Allegheny is forced to punt from their own end zone. Back deep for the Cavaliers is number 22, Don Benino. Makes the fair catch at the 43-yard line. And again, the Cavaliers offense will take over in West Allegheny territory.
A beautiful place to start for the Cavaliers around the 45-yard line on the West Allegheny side of the field. Not much of a better place you could ask to start this early in the game.
Absolutely.
There's still 6 minutes to go in the first.
1st and 10 from the 43 for the Cavaliers offense. 2 wide receivers, 1 on each side. This time it's Hepler in the backfield. Hepler going to try the left side, and he's going to fail. C.J. Hepler, not much room to run there. The fourth and final member of our 4-H club that we mentioned tonight, his first carry is going to be a loss of 4.
Big defensive showdown early on, Mark.
The Cavaliers offense picked up 1 first down on their opening drive, but you are correct. Not much else doing for either offense as the Cavaliers are faced with a 2nd and 13 from the 46. Here's Johnson in the shotgun. That's Hilty in motion. Fake the screen to Hilty. He's going to go down the sideline to Heinley. And again, just past the outstretched hands of Calvin Heinley.
So far, we've seen 3 drives, only 1 first down, which is just baffling. We're talking about these big offensive numbers coming into the game, but it's just been defenses clashing heads. Kiski had the 1 first down, and that was on their first drive. And now here we go, another long 3rd down.
Yeah, this time it's 3rd and 13 from the 46. 2 wide receivers near to us. That's Hutcherson, and now Hilty in motion. Johnson looking right. Fires. This time he connects to Heinley. Heinley across the 45, approaches the 40. But again, it's going to be well short of a first down. Pickup of maybe 3. And unfortunately for the Cavaliers, the punt team's going to come out again. So 2 offensive possessions in West Allegheny territory and nothing to show for the Cavalier offense.
Spencer, single deep for the Indians.
Back deep for the Indians is Jay-Sean Spencer. Set the punt for the Cavs is Cody Dykes. Dykes, this one is a high spiral over Spencer's head and unfortunately into the end zone. Big punt by Cody Dykes. But the Indians will take over 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line with 4:26 remaining in our opening quarter.
It's one thing Kiski's got so well is when they punt that ball away, they've got West Allegheny pinned deep in their own end. West Allegheny's had to defend in their own territory off the onside kick on the first drive, and then the defense pinned and they punted it. It was caught at the 43 or 44 yard line, their own territory.
Gavin Miller.
So,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry, Mason. Gavin Miller coming out for the Indians for the 2nd time tonight. Check that. That's Jay-Sean Spencer that took the snap. Spencer off that left side is going to cross the 25 up to maybe the 26. We'll see where the spot is. Sorry to interrupt you on that one, Mason.
Oh yeah, I was just saying it's been. I was trying to compare and contrast. You know, the 2 different defenses have dealt with 2 completely different field positions.
West Allegheny has been deep in their own territory on both offensive possessions. As we said, the Cavaliers starting both times West Allegheny territory with no points on the board yet. So no score with 4:21 to go. Here's a handoff to number 30. That's Matt Ford. Ford across the 25 up to the 27-yard line. Call it a pickup of 3. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6. Make it a 3rd and 3, excuse me. 3rd and 3 from the 28. I apologize. Tough to see the numbers on the Indians player's jersey. That is Spencer again, who took the direct snap, and that's Spencer who's going to go down. Braden Dunmeyer with the tackle in the backfield. Dunmeyer looked like he was shot out of a cannon on that play.
Wow. West Allegheny had the best chance of the night so far to get something going offensively. Not a chance. The Kiski defense come in there, shut it down, or shot out of cannon to get there.
We talked about Braden Dunmeyer and Brock Wilkins leading the charge for the Kiski defense, and Dunbar showed it right there. Here's a wobbly, low-lining punt by the Indians. Takes a fortunate roll, and for the first time, the Cavaliers offense will start in their own territory. This time at their own 38-yard line. Still scoreless, 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
This first quarter's flown by. It just seemed like it just started. It's so many running plays, Mark.
Right.
We've only seen maybe 3 or 4, if that, a handful of passes thrown by both teams.
And that was West Allegheny has yet to throw a pass. All the passes have been on the Cavaliers side, as we've seen Logan Johnson just misfire with Calvin Heinley a few times, and a couple connections with Heinley and Hutcherson. So here's Johnson again, attempting to throw, going to throw on the run, and it's going to be out of bounds, intended for Heinley. Talking about the completions, we have Logan Johnson has had Calvin Heinley several times down the field, but has been unable to connect. But to your point, it's been mostly running and or West Allegheny on their backs in the backfield. And we are just about 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from the end of the opening quarter. So a quick opening quarter is that.
It was just about the second time that we've seen Johnson throw downfield, really. It's been in the flat.
2nd and 10 from the 38. That's Hutcherson in motion. Fake the handoff to Hutcherson. Wilkins with a big stiff arm to get across the line of scrimmage and pick up 2. Powerful run, or powerful stiff arm. Not so much the run, as Wilkins threw an Indians defender to the ground and was able to get 2 yards out of that run.
It looked like Najee Harris on Sunday for the Steelers. Just boom, put him on the ground.
Absolutely.
It's a grown man down there. This isn't high school.
3rd and 8 from the 40. 3 wide receivers for the Cavaliers. Make it 4, 2 on each side. Here's Johnson looking to throw again. He's going to run it across the 40. Eludes a tackle across the 45. And he's thrown down right around the 47. A few yards short of that first down marker.
Do you punt this away, Mark, or do you try to go for a sneak?
Well, it has been a game of field position, as you said, so far. And with an all-conference punter, I would guess that the Cavaliers will send it away, and indeed they do. Here's Cody Dykes out on the field for the Cavaliers for the 3rd time tonight.
Jay-Sean Spencer, single deep.
Jay-Sean Spencer back again for the Indians.
West Allegheny.
Here's Dykes.
Punt.
This one, high,
Nice punt.
somewhat wobbly, caught at the 16. Spencer tries to stiff arm a man, and he's forced out of bounds right around the 28-yard line.
Another nice stiff arm.
As you said, these are some grown men out here playing some football tonight. West Allegheny takes over 1st and 10 with 1:07 on the field, or on the clock. Flag on the field. That is right around where Spencer was forced out of bounds.
Spencer on that return.
Waiting for the signal from the referees. And this call is going to go against West Allegheny. So West Allegheny will get pushed back.
The mark-off goes against West Allegheny.
And I believe the Indians will take over again inside the 15-yard line. They will, this time at the 13-yard line. So if you're just tuning in, as we said, West Allegheny, this has been a similar story for the Indians tonight, as all 3 of their possessions have been inside the 20 or the 25-yard line, deep in their own territory. Kiski has had prime field position, but no score on the board. 0-0 with 1:09 on the clock. Here's Spencer, going to try the right side, and he's going to get free. He finds a little lane around the corner of the 20, approaching the 25-yard line. Good enough for the Indians' first down of the day.
Gone after a gain of 12 and a first down.
The best offensive play by West Allegheny on the night so far. Running, getting that near outside edge. Finding a chance to get something going.
Jay-Sean Spencer found a little room off that right side, and indeed, that was the first down for the Indians. 1st and 10 from the 25. There's Spencer again, faking the handoff. Keeps it himself across the 30. Muscles his way across the 35, but a flag on the play. Flag came in from the back judge. And it looks like it's going to be holding. Well, he's checking again. Indeed, it's holding against West Allegheny. So that run will go back and we'll repeat first down.
The holding call goes against West Allegheny.
That holding call takes 2 great running plays in a row, and now it's a long second down.
First and 15.
Long first.
We'll repeat first down, so it'll be 1st and 15 from the 20. 55 seconds to go in the first quarter. As you said, West Allegheny got the deepest their offense have seen, the deepest part of the field their offense have seen, but the flag took it back. And here's Spencer again. Nowhere to go. As he picked up maybe one.
The blockers had a nice lane, a little bit up the middle, but as soon as he cut for that middle lane, and he got swollen up. He was right there to meet him. Right there.
We've seen that a couple times tonight. It looked like there was an opening for Jay-Sean Spencer. And as you said, immediately somebody on the Cavaliers defense fills the hole, and there's nowhere to go. 2nd and 14 from the 21. This should be our last play on the first quarter. Handoff. That's Jay-Sean Spencer again. And again, he will go nowhere. We'll call it no gain this time for Spencer. And that's the end of the first quarter. Scoreless first quarter in the homecoming edition of the High Top Sports Network. We'll take a quick break at the end of one. Cavaliers 0, Indians 0. Welcome back to Richard Diltz Field. As we said before the break, scoreless first quarter as the Battle of the Beatons has been everything advertised so far. So far, it's been the defense flexing their muscles as Kiski area has had the ball in prime position offensively. 2 of their first 3 possessions have been in West Allegheny territory with nothing to show for it. On the flip side, the Indians offense has had their backs against the wall several times. Their opening drives have been inside the 20. And here we go with a 3rd and 13 from the 22. Spencer looking deep. The ball is in the air, and it is picked off by Logan Johnson. I apologize for the slight delay. Again, tough to pick up the numbers on the Indians jersey. That was Jay-Sean Spencer on the throw. Tried to find a man deep down the field right around the 40-yard line, and Logan Johnson came from his safety position to give the Cavaliers a first down.
And there, around quarterback to quarterback interception there. It's the beauty of high school football, and a great Johnson, in addition to being that quarterback, a great player in the backfield, was all over that. He turned, faced the throw, caught it. There was no receiver around for West Allegheny.
So add Logan Johnson's name to the list of many Cavaliers defenders with an interception so far this year. And the Cavaliers offense will take over from the 42. Here's Johnson from the quarterback position. Takes it himself across the 50 and up to about the 48-yard line. Logan Johnson on the defensive side recorded his first interception of the season. Add him to a list that includes Braden Dunmeyer, Carter Diltz, Don Danino, Isaiah Gonzalez, and Sam Coleman. A host of Kiski defenders with turnovers this year, and the Cavaliers offense is back in Indians territory. 2nd and 1 from the 49-yard line. Dunmeyer in motion. Johnson's going to keep it himself again. Off the left side. Finds a small hole off the left side and approaches the 45 down around the 46. Good enough for a Kiski area first down.
So you have Johnson showing off all his different talents there. 2 good running plays in a row. Now Kiski doing what they've done all night. They're on the West Allegheny side of the field in their territory. But can they get another first down? They haven't got 2 first downs in the drive yet.
Kiski area 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line.
Johnson is your quarterback.
And in motion is Dunmeyer. Handoff is to Hepler. Hepler with his 2nd carry tonight and his 2nd negative carry. 2nd negative gain. 2nd negative carry by Chad Hepler as he goes nowhere. A loss of 1. 2nd 11. So we hyped up the 4th member of the 4-H club, C.J. Hepler, after consecutive 100-yard rushing games, but nothing doing for C.J. so far tonight.
It's a tough start there. I saw Brock Cornell down there to greet Hepler. Just the big celebration. Tough start to the night for him.
5 wide receivers for the Cavaliers. 3 to the left, 2 to the right, and we're going to get a timeout. Johnson was looking to his sideline, questioning the call. And the Cavaliers will take their first timeout of tonight. While we have a quick break, those of you that are interested in football, we also have a big game tomorrow for the Youth Football League of Kiski area. KVL travels to Valley tomorrow to take on R10. It's going to be a big week, so if you have some free time, head over to Valley Stadium tomorrow as the Knights will kick things off at 9 o'clock. The Cadets game is scheduled to start at 10. The Knights game is scheduled for 11:30, and the Lancers are set to take on the Eagles at 1:30. So big day at KVL football, followed up by our homecoming edition tonight on Hot Top Sports.
Yeah, I saw it's in a battle for the bypass there.
That's exactly
and the nicknames for some of these games, they're so creative nowadays, and it adds so much fun to it, you know.
If you don't know much about the youth football, R10, this is their first time or first year in the Big East Conference. So that has certainly been a rivalry that goes back long before us, and it's going to be renewed tomorrow. So here's a pass by Logan Johnson to Matt Hilty. Hilty across the 40, fights through a tackle, and falls his way through up to about the 36-yard line, right around the first down. Great throw and catch from Johnson to Matt Hilty. And we're going to get another Cavalier first down.
Oh, first time either team here tonight's had 2 first downs in a single drive. Of course, West Allegheny only has 1, but now that's Kiski's 3rd first down of the night.
1st and 10 from the 36 with just over 9 minutes remaining in the opening half. Here's Dunmeyer in motion. Johnson from the shotgun. Again, is going to keep it himself. Across the 35. Up to the 32-yard line. Called a gain of 4. So we talked about Logan Johnson and the dual threat You're seeing it so far here tonight. Several completions to Hilty, Heinley, and Hunterson, and then another run by Logan Johnson, giving Kiski a nice pickup, bring up a 2nd and 6.
It looks like Johnson got a good read. He saw a little hole right in the line and just took advantage of it, 4 yards on the first down, that's great. We'll take that every time.
Not much running room for Wilkins or Hepler, but Logan Johnson certainly doing it on the ground for the Cavaliers. Here's LJ, looking left, going to fire down the left side. He's got a man, and in and out of the hands of Matthew Hilty. Matt Hilty had the ball in his hands in the end zone, and just as the place erupted in celebration, the ball fell free and incomplete.
That's tough there. Not much you can do about it. Can't hang your head, and you got to get back for the next play.
Logan Johnson laid it into Matt Hilty's hands and unable to hold on. And it is now 3rd and 6 for the Cavaliers. 4 wide receivers again for Kiski. Here's Johnson looking right, fakes the screen, nowhere to throw, and he lobs it out of bounds. Wise decision by Logan Johnson not to force anything there. It looked like they wanted to fake that wide receiver screen, but the Indians' defense had it snuffed out, and there was nowhere for Johnson to go. 4th and 6.
Looks like they're going to go for it again on 4th down. They did it on their first drive.
Again, in that
they originally got it, but a flag pulled them back 5 yards.
You are correct.
So they ended up having to punt it away.
In that dead zone again, a little too close to punt, a little too far for a field goal. And the Cavaliers offense will stay on the field. As you said, they converted the first down last time, but a penalty forced them to punt. Here's Johnson this time, looking downfield, dumps it over to Hilty. This time he makes the grab. Very tough catch. Stretches for the first down marker. And the referee on the spot immediately signals ball to the Indians. It looked close for us up here in the booth, but the referee down on the field immediately pointed the other way. And West Allegheny will take over on downs.
Well, to be a glass half full kind of guy, that's 5 yards. 5 more yards the Indians have to get against Kiski. The beautiful catch. How many receivers make that catch? One hand just then pull it in against your chest.
In traffic, and then lower his shoulder and stretch to try to get the first down. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. So West Allegheny will take over 1st and 10. Here's a run by Spencer. Spencer tried the right side. He's still on his feet, working his way back to the left. There's only one Cavalier defender. That's Isaiah Gonzalez. He's around Gonzalez, crosses midfield, and out of bounds right around the 40-yard line. Jay Sean Spencer with a highlight reel carry. And the Indians are in Cavalier territory for the first time tonight.
I think if you heard the PA announcer there making something out of nothing, he really did. I think he was halfway to the ground, maybe parallel, somehow keeping his feet moving. Move the other way. That's never giving up.
Credit Isaiah Gonzalez. He was the lone defender on that side. Not only did he hold his ground, but he held it long enough to force Spencer to stay outside, as several other Cavalier defenders were able to come over and kind of help out. That run could have been a lot worse than it was. 1st and 10 from the 44. This time it's Tracy. Tracy, off right guard, finds a hole across the 40,
38-yard line.
down to the 38-yard line.
On the stop, not before.
Noden Tracy picks up 6 on that carry.
Bring up a 2nd down and 4.
And it's 2nd and 4 with just over 7 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Scoreless so far but West Allegheny is driving for the first time tonight. 2nd and 4 from the 38. Here's a handoff to Ford, and Ford is stuffed. That was Lawhorn Moore and Diltz on the tackle there. Nowhere to go for 4, and no gain on the play.
Looked like Diltz slipped away from the block a little as I zoom in a little more.
Ford had a head of steam there, and I'm trying to find his stats. He is definitely not a small guy. 5'11", 220, but he ran into 6'6", 290 as Lawhorn Moore forced a no gain there. 3rd down. Here's Tracy. He's across the first down marker. Pushed out of bounds inside the 25, but flag on the play.
Let's take a look.
That was Noden Tracy for the Indians with the first down run, but it may be coming back as there was a flag immediately in the backfield. And indeed it is. It's coming back, holding against West Allegheny. 6:36 remaining. Scoreless so far. And West Allegheny, who was moving deep into Kiski area territory, is now going to be faced with a 3rd and 12 from the 46.
3rd and 12 for the Indians.
Shotgun formation for the Indians. In motion, that's Marchinsky. Spencer's going to try the right side, and he's not going to get much. Gain of maybe 3 on the play. And it's going to be a long 4th down for the Indians.
It looked like Spencer almost did the Cavaliers a favor there. It almost looked like he tripped over his own shoes trying to get around the defensive line. It's a tough break, but they'll have to putt it away.
Back deep for the Cavaliers is junior Dom Danino. Can't quite make out the number for the Indians. That is number 6, Derek Curry on the punt. Punt takes a West Allegheny bounce, and it will roll inside the 5 to almost the 4-yard line. So Kiski's had a lot of room to breathe in their first 3 or 4 offensive possessions, that they've been inside West Allegheny territory many times. This time, they're going to have to go 96 yards if they want to score here.
Yeah, it seemed like West Allegheny might have been sleeping a little coming into the game, but now they're waking up a little bit. You know, the special teams, there's some signs of life on the offense, especially with that big run.
Absolutely.
You know, things are starting to turn around. So Kiski's going to make sure they stay awake and not get caught off guard.
See what the Cavalier offense can do with 5:45 remaining. Scoreless so far. Official timeout on the play. As we take a quick timeout on the field, I want to remind you to stay tuned to the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. Homecoming edition, as we said to you several times tonight. We will have the crowning of our homecoming king and queen. Of course, we'll have the award-winning Kiski area marching band. All brought to you by Shevlin Concrete Construction. The ball is set, and it looks like we're ready to go. 1st and 10 from the 5-yard line. Here's Johnson. Man in motion is Dunmeyer. And the handoff is to Wilkins. Wilkins stutters a bit and hurdles his way over the 10, up to the 14-yard line. Great job by Brock Wilkins there. Almost looked like he stuttered a bit as he took that handoff. I don't know if he was trying to read the defense or had a mental breakdown or what have you, but there was a pause, and then he exploded through that line.
It might have been for the better, too, as you stutter a little bit. Maybe that throws a defender off guard. Maybe you juke somebody before you actually do juke somebody.
Absolutely.
But, hey, it worked, and Kiski fans could be happy about it.
Pickup of 8 on the carry. 2nd down Dunmeyer again in motion, and again the handoff is to Wilkins. Wilkins avoids the first tackler and falls across the 15-yard line, and that's going to be enough for a Cavalier first down.
First down, Kiski. Tuttle on the stop for the visitors.
Brock Wilkins getting it done so far for the Cavaliers. Gain of 2 or 3 on that play, and Kiski is up to the 16-yard line.
A couple plays, they're getting out of their own end zone. And never a good place to start, but Kiski is slowly heating up every single drive. Heating up. Well, they scored before the half here. They got 4.5 minutes to do so.
1st and 10 from the 16. Here's Johnson. Again, going to hand off to Wilkins, this time off the left side. Wilkins
A lot of resistance from the white.
hit by several white jerseys as he approached the line of scrimmage. Maybe picked up one.
Number 71.
Called 2nd and 9 from the 17
Also in on the
with 4 minutes exactly on the clock.
2nd down and 9.
2nd and 9.
For the big
The
blue.
Cavaliers with 6 wideouts. 6 wide receivers for the Cavaliers. And we're going to get a timeout. This time by West Allegheny. So that'll be the Indians' first timeout. I don't know if you heard me or not, but the Cavaliers had 6 wide receivers out on that play.
That might be the most wide receivers I've seen out on a play at once. Now maybe you see a tight end or something, but 6.
Right. When we say wide receivers, certainly that it might have been a tight end in that formation, but there were 3 players on each side set wide for the Cavaliers offense. So whatever that was certainly confused West Allegheny enough that they had to call their first timeout with 3:45 left in the first half. As I said, make sure you stay tuned at halftime as we have the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. A lot of stuff to review for you. Hopefully we will have some halftime stats courtesy of our fine stat man with the Kiski area Cavaliers. We got the homecoming court and the crowning of a king and queen, and as always, the award-winning Kiski area marching band. So stay tuned for the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. 2nd and 9 from the 17. This time the Cavaliers have 1 wide out. That's Heinley. Near side to us. Back deep is Wilkins. Logan Johnson going to go deep to Heinley. Jump ball, and it's in and out of the hands of Heinley. Heinley could not come up with that one. Tough catch for Calvin. And it's going to force a 3rd down.
It's a couple times now tonight. Kiski's had a pass in the hands of a receiver. The first one was in the end zone. With a couple balls these receivers would want to have another shot at.
And that is the 3rd or 4th time that Logan Johnson has misfired to Calvin Heinley. As the Cavaliers are faced with a long 3rd down. 3:39 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Dunmeyer in motion. Johnson takes the snap. Looking right. Still looking right. Nowhere to go. Rolls to his left. Looking downfield. And he's hit and dropped. Back at the 12-yard line. Sack on the play was Luke Monty for the Indians. Great coverage downfield by West Allegheny. Logan Johnson had 4 wide receivers available to him, but nowhere to go, and he was dropped for a loss of about 4 on that play.
Yeah, that's tough. You had those 4 receivers. None of them could be open before he gets pressured.
Just under 3 minutes to go as Cody Dykes is set the punt again for Kiski. This one, a little wobbly, high, fair caught at the 48-yard line by Jay Sean Spencer. And that's where Spencer and the offense will take over with 2:49 to go. Scoreless first half, 0-0 here in the Battle of the Unbeatens.
Yes, now we're flipping the script a little bit of how we started this game. Now the Indians have a pretty good field position. Clock is winding down toward halftime, and I don't think you can argue for any football team, you want to head to the locker room at halftime with a lead. So it's crunch time, and the Indians hold the advantage.
You're exactly right. Field position has flipped. West Allegheny is in Cavalier territory for the second time tonight. This time it is Tracy. Noden Tracy finds some room off the right side. Tackled by Hepler, but not before a gain of about 5 for West Allegheny. 2nd and 5 from the 42, 2:20 and counting. West Allegheny has 2 timeouts, as does the Cavaliers. Second and 5. I believe that is Tracy behind center. Flag from the back judge.
Flags.
And it looks like a delay of game against West Allegheny.
Timeout.
Excuse me. There was a flag on the play. Did they pick that up?
No flag.
There was a timeout called by West Allegheny, and I believe that flag was picked up as the timeout was called right before it. We'll get you some clarification, but nonetheless, timeout on the field with 2:03 in the second quarter.
Yeah, as you gotta stop the clock there. You don't want to have any longer of a field position than you're in right now, especially in crunch time right now around a 2-minute warning.
Yeah,
and you got those 2 timeouts. Might as well use them and get a better idea of what you want to run this play.
It looked like the play clock was running down, and West Allegheny was unsure of what they wanted to run. And to your point, I believe that timeout came in right before the flag came out. So 2nd and 5 from the 42 with 2:03 remaining, and the Indians have 1 timeout. This is Tracy. Tracy off the right side. Skates away from a tackle. Finds some room across the 35, approaching the 30. Good enough for another first down. So no huddle offense here by West Allegheny. The sticks weren't even set. And here's Tracy again. Off the right side. And across the 30 this time. So a very, very quick snap by West Allegheny. The sticks on the right side weren't even set when that ball was snapped.
Now a minute and a half left. I'm surprised with the huddle going on here. We don't see more pass plays or even that last time out that West Allegheny has.
2nd down from the 29-yard line. This is Tracy. He's going to try the left side, and there's nowhere to go. That's Lawhorn Moore. Beef with the big stop for the Cavaliers. And it looks like West Allegheny will take their final timeout. 1:04 remaining. 0-0 is your score. West Allegheny takes their final timeout. When we come back, it'll be a 3rd and 7 from the 30-yard line. In all my reports, or all of my reading, all of my studying, I didn't see anything about West Allegheny's field goal unit. So not quite sure, if they have a capable kicker. But right now, it would be a 47-yarder. So even the best high school field goals, or field goal kickers, that would be a stretch. So probably in 2-down territory here for the Indians.
If they can convert here on 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, then run a few more plays, get a little closer. But as we get closer and closer to 0 on the clock, we might have to see a long one be kicked.
With no timeouts left, there's not many plays that West Allegheny is going to be able to run. So we'll see what happens here on 3rd and 8. West Allegheny looked like there is a flag on the play. It looked like one of the West Allegheny linemen moved. The defense from the blue side pointing against the Indians, and indeed it is. So Kiski area, good job by the line there to hold their ground. West Allegheny is going to move back 5 more yards. Called 3rd and 13 from the 35. And another flag. Now the Cavaliers sideline pointing against West Allegheny. And indeed they are correct. Another 5 yards. So what was once a somewhat promising 3rd and 7 is now turned into a 3rd and 17 from the 40. Third and 18. Here is Tracy. Tracy tried the left side and didn't gain much. Great job by Matt Hilty to wrap him up and hold on, as Tracy maybe picked up 2. And it's going to be a long 4th down with about 40 seconds to go. 20 seconds on the play clock, 39 seconds on the game clock. West Allegheny does not have another timeout. Kiski area has 2, and it looks like they're going to be content to let this clock run. We're going to get a delay of game penalty against West Allegheny.
Delay of game.
With 16 seconds to go.
March it back to the 42-yard line.
And that's where the Indians will be forced to punt.
Sitting on the punt.
So a 4th and a heck of a long way from the 43. 16 seconds to go. And that's Dom Danino back to receive the punt for the Cavaliers. Here's the kick off the side of his toe. Ball hits at the 25 and down at the 22 with 6 seconds to go. So the Cavaliers offense will come out with 6 seconds to go. And I would guess in the kneel down formation based on the Cavaliers not calling any timeouts.
I can respect and understand the strategy used by West Allegheny there. Get as much time off the clock. You don't want to give maybe 1 or 2 plays to Kiski. They still have a timeout, so it's not just, okay, yeah, you're going to throw Hail Marys. It's, okay, yeah, we can run the play 2 or 3 plays. I can get them into the end zone possibly.
Correct. And to your point, Kiski was more than happy to let that clock run and go into the half with a 0-0 scoreless 2 quarters.
Who would have guessed that?
Well, you know, we talked about the defense on both sides, specifically with the Cavaliers, so it's not surprising to see, you know, the Cavaliers defense play well. But to your point, with both of these offenses averaging well over 3 touchdowns a game, for it to be scoreless through 2 quarters is certainly eye-opening.
The closest thing to a score was a drop pass from Kiski quarterback Logan Johnson in the end zone. But we talked about the defenses first, that's why.
Absolutely. To your point, Kiski had several opportunities on the offensive side as their drive started in Indians territory. The closest one was indeed a pass in and out of the hands of Matthew Hilty in the end zone. Other than that, neither team has sniffed the scoreboard as we are scoreless through 2 quarters. You are now listening to the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. Shevlin Concrete Construction is Western PA's choice for customized driveways, floors, patios, and more. Named the 2020 winner of Trib Total Media's Best Construction Company, Shevlin Concrete Construction has more than 25 years of experience. You can stand on craftsmanship, integrity, and traditions with Shevlin Concrete Construction. Call today for a free estimate and design consultation at 724-681 724-648-4526 or like them on Facebook. That's Shevlin Concrete Construction, 724-681-4526. We're going to take a break. As we said many times, the bands are just as important as the play on the field. First, please, let's welcome West Allegheny Marching Band.
Come together. I saw her standing there and can't buy me love. Our opener will feature senior mellow and alto sax players Luke Dale and Porter Venuti. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the opener to our show, Magical Mystery Tour and Eleanor Rigby. West Allegheny Marching Pride.
That's all right. It's like I know you. I was like, man, I have so bad. The more I get, I swear to God, from all the concussions I have, I'm getting worse and worse every year. Yeah, I'm just getting worse and worse every year. Every year. I probably had about 9 that I can count. I had like 4 or 5 in high school. And 4 in high school. One more than that. The last one I had in college. I was taking my career on the drive. Hey, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. I feel like good.
Our next song was the opening track on their 1969 album, Abbey Road. The song reached the top of the charts in the U.S. and peaked at number 4 in the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, come together. Our next song was ranked 139 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, I Saw Her Standing There. We will close our show this evening with a song released in 1964 that topped the charts in U.S., Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and Sweden. It was the 4th highest selling single of the 1960s. Ladies and gentlemen, Can't Buy Me Love. Ladies and gentlemen, Eliza Evans and Logan Cruz. The band's under the direction of TJ Fox. We would also like to thank Joey Banda, Al Cugini, Lou Zilio, Steve Groba, Larry Dubash, Emily Hogue, Ashley Tomaseski, Paige Wesley, and Alan Yoder for their dedication to the band. We hope you've enjoyed our show this evening and look forward to entertaining you in the future.
Great job by the West Allegheny band. And before we get the award-winning Kiski band, got to welcome you back to the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. If you're just tuning in, 0-0 is your score through the first half. And while no score, it's been somewhat exciting.
Oh, yeah. As Marcus, you mentioned, the top of your screen it's not a mistake. It is 0-0. Two great offensive teams, but it's a showcase of the defenses tonight.
Got to get a report on senior quarterback Gavin Miller for West Allegheny. I don't remember saying his name at all through the first half, as we saw Jay-Sean Spencer and Noden Tracy taking all of the snaps in the first half. So wondering where Gavin Miller was for the Indians offense. We saw some explosiveness from the Indians when they catch the outside. Kiski has done a good job of keeping the play bottled up in the middle, but we saw what happens when West Allegheny can catch the corners, so that's definitely going to be something to watch in the second half.
Yes, and you got to make sure you stop the feet. West Allegheny's been able to keep their feet moving, and that helped them get that one big run early on in the second.
Kiski just missed our only touchdown of tonight. Logan Johnson had a beautiful pass down the sideline and into the end zone, just in and out of the hands of Matthew Hilty. that was basically our only real scoring threat of tonight. Both teams have had a couple drives in the opposing team's territory, but right now it's been all defense. As we said, 0-0 as Kiski area gets set up for their halftime performance. We also want to ask you to stay tuned as we will crown a winner of the Kiski Homecoming Court. You are listening to the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. Shevlin Concrete Construction, the Western PA's choice for customized driveways, floors, patio, and more. Call today for a free estimate and design consultation, 724-681-4526, or like them on Facebook. That's Shevlin Concrete Construction, 724-681-4526. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Big K Marching Band.
I just figured we'd have a lot of dead time, so we could say something. It was a really good idea. I made sure I stuck that mic outside there so you don't cut this much conversation. Yeah, right.
You got the Bob Eubank mic. It's over.
Now, without further ado, performing their entire show beneath the shifting sands, here is the Kiski Area High School Marching Band.
Let's go on our website, Facebook, and Twitter.
Okay.
Any of those places.
Have you seen any yet? On our website, sometimes we keep all of our games.
High Top Sports or Kiski's
High Top Sports Network.
Okay.
All those games are archived.
Okay.
Yeah. Seriously,
I can't believe it's just like a little sunny freaking handy cam in the corner. And it gives that good of a picture.
Oh, it is fabulous. We have people usually sending me pictures that they have the big screen out at their house and they're having like viewing parties.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, do you know Bob Busey? Yeah, Bob Busey was one who sent me one last week. He's like, this is phenomenal. He's like, you guys sound great. And he had the big screen up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I need to be a little more aggressive in the second half, put some tighter zooms.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's been a couple times when there's been three of us. You know, the cameraman's been like zoomed
Kiski has a Sony cam, like, this dates me, but it's like an 8mm, but it's new. It's a digital. It's like, it's about that big.
Yeah.
It's like a Sony cam. I want something.
So, we provide this as a free service, so it's not affiliated.
It's in a box. It's not being sold. It's in a box somehow. I know that.
Hey, I didn't know the scores from any other games.
Armstrong, 21-0 over yeah, they're over half. I didn't get the score yet. I could just look it up. I know they're still playing right now, so we just get the scores you can get.
Just jump it down and you say some other score. I'll usually say you have another score.
Let's get going. Okay, cool.
It's nice.
It's completely different from what I'm used to, but
I like the fact that you got it's simple interface.
the only downside is to remember to update it.
It'd be nice if you could interface it into the Daxonic. You could have a Daxonic, like I know with wrestling, I can integrate Daxonic clock in my phone. I can do a ribbon connection. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I imagine Joe, and Josh, I imagine people can have this.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Oh, wait, you don't have.
Yeah, so they just went from Fisco Armstrong to now screens.
This is awesome. This is cool.
Make sure we have people to do it. Go ahead, Sue.
This goes back to my college days. semester of TV.
I'm in my senior year right now, so.
What's that?
I'm in my senior year right now. So
Oh, you're right?
yeah, I go to Westminster.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to Clarion back in the day. I had 2 radio shows. I had a Friday morning radio show and a late night Saturday night radio show one semester. My buddy and I did that's when Paulson and Credden were big guys at DV. We did a morning show. His name was JD, John DeRose. He was the big JD. So I was like, okay, I can't have that. So we had one girl cut a spot for us, like a double shot of JD in the morning, with a little glass clinking. It was late.
That's what you need for counties.
Yeah.
Camera on each table. Interface directly.
Yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah, but I think Westmoreland network has the rights to that.
Get out here and say hi to this guy.
Hey. No, it's not.
Oh, hey.
What do you need from Springdale? Requisition that, man. You gotta requisition that.
What do you need from Springdale? I got connections.
My camera.
That's a learning lesson. Don't get your money back. Yeah, learning lesson. Don't get your money back. The way he said it, he stole
Oh, right, yeah. Hey, you know the ball, that's
yeah, it's more or less what it's like. See you, man. Take care. It's like, don't buy a book.
Dude, I read the article, I'm like, I could have been Nick. I could have been so many. I could have been Nick. Smash the red to the rock. Here's the bomb, too. Oh, this bar. Let's just grab that with cool. No, we're not. We'll put it back. We'll put it back.
I thought the same thing. Everything was logical. I thought, in my world, yeah.
We'll put it back. We won't hurt it.
Put that out. Pull it out.
No, put it back. It's good. Right? It's good. You must have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They resigned.
That was like $50,000. That was, maybe he didn't want to go on and on. I heard it was something like kids. So I'll take all of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, your award-winning Kiski Area High School Marching Band. On behalf of the Kiski Area Marching Band and Instrumental Boosters, we'd like to thank everybody for watching us this evening and look forward to performing again. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is homecoming here at Kiski area, and now it's time to meet our 2021-2022 homecoming court. Natalie Bollinger. Natalie's escorted by Holden Burkett, the daughter of Chad and Amy Bollinger of Allegheny Township. Natalie is a member of the Key Club and the Student Council. She's a varsity cheerleader and was a dancer for 14 years. Natalie plans to attend Slippery Rock University and major in health administration and management. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Bollinger. Nicole George. Nicole is escorted by Antonio Giordano and is the daughter of Kevin and Caitlin George of Allegheny Township. Nicole is a member of the Student Council, National Honor Society, Shout Club, Cavalier Choir. She plans to attend Penn State University main campus to further her education. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole George. Macy Hepler. Macy is escorted by Cody Dykes. She's the daughter of Chad and Susan Fudel. She resides in Allegheny Township. Macy is a member of the Key Club, National Honor Society, and the Cavalier Leadership Council. She participates in volleyball and outdoor track and field. Macy has received high honors and scholar athlete every year. She also volunteers at the Murraysville Community Library and is a member of the Westmoreland Youth Leadership Council. Macy plans to attend college and hopes to pursue her dreams of owning her own health and fitness business. Ladies and gentlemen, Macy Hepler. Emerson Giancarlo. Emerson is escorted by Kelvin Heinley, who's the daughter of Susan and Gary Giancarlo of Allegheny Township. Emerson is a captain of the varsity soccer team. He's also a member of the Key Club, National Honor Society, Cavalier Leadership Council, and Shout Club. Emerson is committed to Robert Morris University to continue her soccer career and major in business. Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson Giancarlo. Carly Kuhn. Carly is escorted by Jane and Rupshaw. She's the daughter of Diana and the late Sean Kuhn, sister to Chase Kuhn. Kaylee resides in Allegheny Township and is a member of the Cavalier Leadership Council, Ski Club, and is captain of the volleyball team. She has played volleyball for 5 years. Carly plans to attend college to continue her academic career and major in finance or nursing. Ladies and gentlemen, Carly Kuhn. Jocelyn Spencer. Jocelyn is escorted by Carter Giltz. Is the daughter of Michelle and Wilson Spencer of Allegheny Township. Jocelyn is a captain of the varsity cheerleading squad, is also involved in Cavalier Choir, Show Choir, the Kiski area musical, the National Honor Society. Jocelyn plans to attend Clarion University to continue her academic career and major in bearer, Brett Slater. Brett is age 4 and is the son of Drew and Regina Slater, Kiski area high school counselor. Brett resides in Jefferson Hills with his parents, his brother Bennett, and his dog Zero.
We got to come up with a player of the game and a play of the game, because we have a play of the game sponsor, just so you know. Okay? So just kind of keep that in the back of your head.
The Jefferson Soccer Club takes swimming lessons and loves playing hockey with his dad. Crown bearer, Brett Slater. Crown bearer, Everly Judith McMeans. She's the daughter of Daniel and Sarah McMeans, Kiski area high school chorus director. She has a brother Logan, age 11, and several pets. Lizzie and Riley were Pug Terrier mixes, and Tiny the rabbit. She enjoys gymnastics, watching her brother Logan play baseball, driving her red truck at Granny and Pappy's house, and eating ice cream with her best friend Madison. Everly is 4 years old. Crown bearer, Everly Judith McMeans. And now, please welcome back our Kiski area high school 2020 queen, Valerie McMullen. Valerie is escorted by her younger brother, Nolan McMullen. Valerie attends Duquesne University, where she is part of the honors college. She is currently undecided on her major, but she plans to start her journey in psychology, speech language pathology in the spring. At Duquesne, Valerie participates in cheerleading, the Integrated Honor Society, the ASL Club, Circle K, Best Buddies, and the Duke-a-thon. She is honored to be back here to pass off the crown to a very well-deserving young lady. And now, the time has arrived for us to meet the 2021-2022 Homecoming Queen. Ladies and gentlemen, our crowning queen for this school year is Jocelyn Spencer. Congratulations, Jocelyn. And congratulations to the entire 2021 Homecoming Queen for 2021-2022. Have a big round of applause for the Homecoming Queen and the Queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shevlin Concrete Construction halftime show. Want to say great job to both bands. Of course, the award-winning Kiski area marching band, and congratulations to the new homecoming queen, Jocelyn Spencer. Tremendous halftime show as always, and always excited and grateful to have you here with us on the High Top Sports Network. We are scoreless through the first half, and I got some stats for you that may blow your mind a little bit. As much as we knew it was a defensive battle, as much as we knew not much offense in the game, I'm somewhat surprised by some of these halftime stats. Kiski area seemed to move the ball several times on different possessions through the first half, but so far through the air, only 29 yards receiving, and on the ground, only 40 yards rushing. So far, a total of just under 70 yards of total offense for the Cavaliers.
Well, yeah, the receiving yards probably a little more for for Kiski than you're going to see for West Allegheny. As I turned myself down, and I did. Sorry for shouting into you, everybody at home, but yeah, Kiski's really thrown the ball a lot more than West Allegheny. I believe they've only thrown or attempted to throw 2 passes.
Yeah, we don't have any official stats for West Allegheny. The stat man for Kiski area coming through as always for the Cavaliers. Thank you to Ryan Thompson for his help. Logan Johnson was 4 of 11 for 29 yards. His completions, 1 to Calvin Hindley, 1 to Dylan Hutcherson, and 2 to Matt Hilty. As we said, Matt Hilty had the Cavaliers' basically only chance of the evening for a touchdown, as Logan Johnson found him on the right side of the end zone. Unfortunately, Hilty was unable to come up with it, and that was the real only scoring chance for Kiski area so far. West Allegheny, again, trying to get reports on senior quarterback Gavin Miller. We haven't seen him at all on the offensive side or under center for the Indians. It's been all Jay Sean Spencer and Noden Tracy. Again, not much offense for either team. We are less than 30 seconds away from the kickoff of the second half. Again, want to thank Shevlin Concrete Construction for their sponsorship and participation in High Top Sports Network. Shevlin Concrete Construction, Western Pennsylvania's choice for customized driveways, floors, patios, and more. Named the 2020 winner of Trib Toto Media's Best Construction Company, Shevlin Concrete Construction has more than 25 years of experience. You can stand on craftsmanship, integrity, and traditions with Shevlin Concrete Construction. Call today for a free estimate and design consultation at 724-681-4526 or like them on Facebook. That's Shevlin Concrete Construction, 724-681-4526. We'll also want to thank you, or say thank you to a couple new sponsors, and something you want to keep an eye out for as we work our way through the second half. Ramsey's Place, the premier barbership in the AK Valley, is now the official High Top Sports Player of the Game for all Cavaliers football games, and Chip's Stove Shop is also our Play of the Game. So after tonight's contest, we will be awarding a Play of the Game and Player of the Game. Whoever the Player of the Game will get a free haircut from Ramsey's Place. So we touched on that a little bit in the
they'll be looking a lot more fresh.
I think you may have to name me the Player of the Game if we keep going the way we're going. We're getting the most action and bringing the most excitement so far tonight, don't you think?
I don't know. Let's see who the best defensive player is with whatever we can gather.
You're right. So far, it's been all defense. As we said, 0-0 as we get set for the second half. Set the kick for West Allegheny is Braden Lambert. Here's a line drive toward Dom Danino, and it goes out of bounds right around the 5-yard line. Flag on the play, and the Kiski offense will yet again get pretty good field position.
Now, if you've been with us all night long, you might remember, well, didn't Kiski have the ball first? That's right, they did, because West Allegheny, Kiski on the onside kick, West Allegheny fumbled the ball, Kiski got it back. So now they've got to keep the ball both in the first half and the second half.
Logan Johnson with the 6 wideouts again. This is the second time we've seen it. Man in motion is Dunmeyer. Here's Johnson, going to take it himself up the middle. He'll cross the 35, maybe to the 36. Talking to several of the Cavaliers players, I believe it was before last week's game, they said there was a new confusion formation that is added to the playbook, and I would venture to guess that may be it. What we saw right there, we saw 3 wideouts on the left and 3 wideouts on the right.
The last time we saw that, West Allegheny, they took a timeout. They ran off the field.
So gain of 2 on the play. Second down from the 37. That's Dunmeyer in motion again. And again, Logan Johnson. This time he's going to hand off to Wilkins. And Wilkins is going to cross the 40 up to the 41. And the Cavaliers will be faced with a 3rd and short. Called a 3rd and 4.
Third down and 4.
From the 41.
Oh, we got a quick stop and play. I want to look across some of our other high top coverage tonight in the halftime break. Sarah Catholic leads Freeport 7-3, and Armstrong is leading Knock in the half 21-0.
Third down and long.
3rd and 4 from the 41. The man in motion this time is Hilty. And a stop on the play. Timeout for the Cavaliers. So thank you again, Mason, with the scores from all of our other High Top Sport Network games. We have 2 teams in the network that are playing each other tonight, Armstrong and Knock. I believe you said Armstrong was leading that contest?
Yes, so we're leading 21-0 at the halftime break.
Armstrong looking to get back on the winning page. They come into the game, I believe, with a record of 2-2. Freeport also looking to get back to some winning ways, and they trail right now, you said?
7-3.
7-3, so another tight ball game.
All conference action, too, which is, and it's surprising to see here. Kiski and West Allegheny, I should say, 2 teams still not having a conference game, and it's a homecoming game, too. So.
Correct. This is a non-conference matchup. 3rd and 4 from the 41. Here's Johnson. Quick throw to Hilty. Hilty tries to work his way across the 40, and there's nowhere to go. Great job by Jay-Sean Spencer, this time on the defensive side. Spencer able to come up from his defensive back position and stop Hilty for no gain. And that'll force Kiski to punt. Cody Dykes back again for the Cavaliers. And back deep for the Indians is Jay-Sean Spencer. High spiraling punt by Dykes. Spencer will settle under it at the 19-yard line. And West Allegheny's offense will take the field for the first time in the 3rd quarter with 9:46 on the clock.
And the Indians begin their drive. First and 10.
Still don't see number 8, Gavin Miller,
Ladies and gentlemen,
out on the field for West Allegheny. We'll see as they break the huddle who is behind center.
your lights are on. DMR.
Again, that looks like Noden Tracy
CRD.
and Jay-Sean Spencer in the backfield.
Here we go.
That's Tracy.
Keeper.
Excuse me, that's Spencer. Spencer makes a move
Out of bounds at the
around the 30 and forced out of bounds right around the 35-yard line.
And he'll be
That was Jay-Sean Spencer with a first down run for the Indians.
A couple of nice stiff arms by Spencer, too, on that near side. Got him another yard or 2.
So 1st and 10 from the 35.
first and 10 at the 35 for West End.
That is Spencer and Tracy in the backfield.
Spencer in the Wildcat.
Flag on the play
Tracy
as
cuts
Tracy
inside.
is wrapped up around the 35.
Flag on the play. Tackled by Carter Dilts.
Tackles by Carter Dilts for the Cavaliers, but I believe this flag is going to go against West Allegheny.
We'll get a good zoom here and see.
Official timeout. Straighten this out.
No signal yet.
Flag was thrown in the West Allegheny Indian backfield.
Ladies and gentlemen,
West Allegheny is walking back toward their end zone. So I believe this is going to be called against the Indians. And it was false start against West Allegheny. So that'll push the Indians back to the 30-yard line. And it brings up a 1st and 15. That is Spencer. Fake the handoff. Avoids the first tackle. And is forced out of bounds. Big hit by Braden Dunbar.
They got to watch out with the helmet-to-helmet contact, but it got him out of bounds.
In on the play was Isaiah Gonzalez as well. Carter Diltz was the Cavalier in the backfield that forced Spencer to go a little wider than probably what he wanted to. And again, Braden Dunbar was there to lay the big hit. For those of you that don't know, his nickname is Stick. And that is the reason why. He laid a hit on Spencer and forced him out of bounds pretty hard. So that's 1st and 17. That would be 2nd, excuse me. And I believe we're going to have another flag against the Indians.
Delay game.
Delay of game against West Allegheny. And while this game has certainly been void of offense, West Allegheny doing nothing to help themselves with what was probably the 5th or 6th flag against them on the offensive side. So 2nd and 22 now. Here's a handoff to Tracy. Tracy's going to try the right side, and Tracy's going to fail. Braden Dunmeyer again on the stop. Nowhere to run. As Kiski's defense continues.
Dunmeyer's been pretty solid for this Kiski defense tonight. Certainly they will have to have in mind if this defense continues the way it has.
Absolutely. Kiski's defense standing tall once again. Gain of about 1 on the play. A long 3rd down with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Here's Spencer looking to throw, rolling right.
Trying to cut the corner.
Pressure by number 8, Deshaun McBride. And the pass falls well and complete. And West Allegheny will be forced to punt.
On the pressure.
Deshaun McBride on the pressure for the Cavaliers.
I think the story of this drive has to be a little more of. The flags hurt the Indians a little more than the defensive pressure.
Curry.
Back to punt for West Allegheny is Derek Curry.
For the Indians.
And back to receive for the Cavaliers is Don Danino. Danino not going to get a chance to settle under this, as it is well short of midfield and down right around the 48-yard line. Let's take a quick break here. You're listening to the home of Cavalier football, High Top Sports Network.
Cavaliers.
Back to action here at Diltz Field. Here's a handoff to Wilkins. Bounces around the right side. And there's nowhere to go there either, as Wilkins is going to be pushed back about a yard or two. Back into his own territory. Call it a loss of 1. Nothing doing for Brock Wilkins there. As we said at halftime, Wilkins was the leading rusher for the Cavaliers in the first half. 7 carries for 21 yards. And that's all that the Cavaliers could really muster. There's not much offense for either team. Here's second down. Logan Johnson looking left. There's nothing there. He's looking right. There's nothing there, so he's going to keep it himself. Across the 40, the 35, and brought down around the 32. Tackle made by Brock Cornell. Great job by Logan Johnson to give the Cavaliers a first down.
There's making something out of nothing, just right there. It's Johnson. He could have been sacked for a loss of 4 or 5, but instead it's you don't give up, and that's whichever team cannot give up the most. And Kiski hasn't given up too much either. That can result in some points on the board. That's what we've been lacking, offense. You don't give up. It results in offense.
We talked about Johnson being a dual threat. The last 2 weeks, he has rushed for multiple touchdowns. And right there, you saw what a weapon it can be as he turned nothing into a long game. And the Cavaliers will continue the drive. 1st and 10 at the 31. 6 minutes remaining. Here's Dunbar in motion. Logan Johnson again is going to keep it. Again, he's going to go across the right side. And he'll work his way across the 30 up to the 27-yard line. We'll call it a gain of 4 for Logan Johnson. And the Cavaliers will have 2nd and 6.
Got 5.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. The Kiski, in their past couple drives, have finally started to string some things together, getting some first downs, eating up a lot of clock in the process.
Kiski working their way deep inside the Indians' territory again. Here's a handoff to Wilkins. Wilkins drags a would-be tackler across the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. Powerful run by Brock Wilkins.
Tracy. Sorrow. Unstopped.
3rd and 3
for the Big Blue.
For the Cavaliers from the 23-yard line. Here's Brock Wilkins taking the snap, lowers his shoulder, across the 20, and across the first down marker. Kiski area continues to move into Indians territory. 1st and 10 from the 17.
One thing I noticed is on the Kiski sideline, they're warming up a kicker in case they're not able to find the end zone this time, as we have some receivers out. Then or they can go for a field goal.
1st and 10 from the 17. 4 minutes remaining. Wilkins going to take the direct snap again, but this time he stood up. Tackle on the play by number 23, Nico Taddy. And as you were stating, Cody Dykes is indeed warming up on the sideline. We talked about what a weapon that is for the Cavaliers to have an all-conference punter and would-be all-conference kicker. So certainly if the Cavaliers are unable to punch this in, I would expect to see Dykes out on the field. Right now it's 2nd and 11 from the 18. Johnson going to toss to Hepler, and Hepler going to go even further back.
Nowhere to go.
The 3rd carry for C.J. Hepler, and the 3rd time he's going to lose yards.
On that penetration
This time even longer than the first 2.
for West Allegheny.
Called a loss of about 4, maybe 5. As the Cavaliers offense is now back to the 24-yard line.
3rd down.
C.J. Hepler
17.
coming off the High Top Sports Player of the Game last week. Well over 100 yards in the last 2 contests. And he has 3 carries for negative 9 yards so far tonight.
3rd down.
3rd down. Here's Johnson. And before he can attempt to pass, flag on the play. The flag is going to go against the Cavaliers for a delay of game. So a third long is going to be even longer. 3rd and 22 now. So we might have jinxed the Cavaliers talking about a field goal, because with the Cavaliers now at the 29-yard line with no gain, that field goal would be about 47 yards. And I don't think that's something that Kiski would attempt.
5 or 6 yards here, that's 5 or 6 yards closer.
Right.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
We may be in 4-down territory. You're right, depending on how many yards they can possibly pick up here. But again, before we can see what happens, we got to stop and play. This time it's a timeout. So timeout by the Cavaliers. That's their first of the second half.
It's a breath of fresh air there, Marcus. It was just a fraction of a second away from being another delay of game call.
So fortunate timeout for the Cavaliers, and that'll give us a chance to remind you again of 2 quick additions we have to this week's High Top Sports Network broadcast. We now have a player of the game and a play of the game sponsor. Excited to announce those 2 businesses to the High Top Sports Network. Ramsey's Place, the premier barbershop in the AK Valley, located at 300 Sycamore Street in Vandergrift, is now our player of the game sponsor. To book an appointment, you can go directly through their Facebook page, Ramsey's Place, or call 724-571-7368. Ramsey's Place is a one-stop shop for styling for the entire family, as they also offer women's haircuts, hair coloring, manicures, and pedicures. So thank you to Ramsey's Place. 3rd and 22 from the 29. Here's Johnson. Quick dump to Hilty. Hilty across the middle. Ball is loose on the ground, and it looked like a white jersey was on top of it. And indeed, the ref on the spot signaling Indians ball.
Wow, what a turn of events here. We're talking about maybe a field goal in the first points of the game for Kiski. Not going to happen.
It looked like the Cavaliers were maybe taking a play out of your book, trying to pick up a small amount of yards, potentially get into field goal territory, or, hey, if they were fortunate enough to break it, so be it. But that play backfired as Matthew Hilty put the ball on the ground, and West Allegheny will take over.
Yeah, it was a tough catch. As he got it, it didn't have enough time to gather it. It just didn't look like he had it controlled. And then, boom, you get hit. Good chance that ball might come out.
A lot of traffic for Matt Hilty there. And here's West Allegheny's offense. 1st and 10 from the 22. And now the Indians will take their first timeout. West Allegheny takes their first timeout of the half. So let's get back to welcoming our sponsors. Chip Stove Shop is now the official play of the game sponsor. If it's heat you want, they got it. Fireplace inserts, gas logs, wood stoves, pellet stoves, and more. Many brands available. Visit their website at www.chipstoveshop.com or visit Chip at the shop located at 200 Thorn Street in Apollo. For more information, call Chip Stove Shop at 724-567-7876. So thank you once again to Chip Stove Shop and Ramsey's Place, along with our halftime sponsor, Shevlin Concrete Construction. Happy to have more and more businesses joining us here on the High Top Sports Network. First down run by the Indians up the middle. That is Noden Tracy, who found a seam off the right guard. Quick hitter, gain of over 20.
I think these past 2 plays are, they might be some of the front runners for that play of the game.
It might be. That was the longest gain for the Indians so far tonight. Gain of 22. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Again, This is Tracy. And again, Tracy's going to get positive yards. This time he finds a hole off left side. Tracy going to pick up 8 on that run.
A couple beautiful jukes by Tracy inside, getting that inside lane, finding a block.
Tracy with well over 30 yards on 2 carries, and the Indians are in Cavalier territory. Second and 2. He was just short of the first down marker. 2nd and 2 from the 49. Again, it's Tracy off the right side. Slip away from a tackler. Finds the corner. And that will be good enough for a first down. Tracy was almost slowed down in the backfield. Couldn't see who the Cavalier defender was. Had a hand on him, but he was able to find the corner and give the Indians another first down.
Yeah, the Indians finally have something going, and they're now looking very threatening against the Cavalier defense. It's all in the hands of Tracy.
West Allegheny riding Node and Tracy so far on this drive, and there he is again. Maybe gain of 1. Flag came in late. Flag came from the back judge as he threw it in right around where Tracy was tackled. And the hold is going to go against the Indians. So as we mentioned on the last offensive series, the Indians not doing themselves a favor as another offensive penalty.
Oh, that's tough there. Yes, the Indians get going. And now, as the third quarter clock nears expiration, it's just the Indians better not shoot themselves in the foot again.
Thank you, Mason. Just under 10 seconds to go. And that's where the game or the play clock is. So I believe they're going to have to call a play here, and they do. Back to pass. That's number 12, Gage Upton. And nowhere to go. The pass is incomplete. And that'll be the final play of the third quarter. Still scoreless here at Richard Diltz Field. 0-0 through 3. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to the home of Kiski Area Football, High Top Sports Network.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
Welcome back to Richard Diltz Field as we get set for the final quarter here. West Allegheny 3-0, Kiski 4-0, and we have 2 zeros up on the scoreboard as the battle of the unbeatens has been all the hype has lived up to. Has lived up to all the hype.
Oh, it's lived up to the hype. Just I think we were expecting, a lot of offense and maybe a high-scoring affair. Not going to happen tonight.
Yeah, we mentioned it several times. Both teams averaging well over 3 touchdowns per game, but it's been the defense tonight as we are scoreless through 3. 2nd and 20. Here's a handoff to Tracy. Tracy weaves his way across the 45 up to about the 47. Tackled by Braden Dunmeyer. Who else? The strong middle linebacker for the Cavaliers. Here's his name called again. As West Allegheny will be faced with a 3rd and 16. Braden Dunmeyer has been solid up the middle for the Cavaliers all night long. And the Cavs are going to need him again here. 3rd and 16. Here's a quick pass behind the line. The ball was loose, but it's going to be called incomplete. That pass was intended for Mason Machinsky, and he had nowhere to go. Pass was incomplete, and the punt team will come out again. Back to punt for North Allegheny is Derek Curry. And again, back for the Cavaliers is Dom Danino. Danino waiting at his 15. The punt is going to be angled away from Danino. Lands at around the 29. Takes a small Indians bounce. And it'll be downed at the 27-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Cavalier offense from the 27.
Yeah, I don't think we ever thought we'd get to this point and be waiting on the first points of the game.
Yeah, I don't know how you could have watched the first 3 or 4 games, Allegheny playing 3 games and Kiski playing 4. I don't know how you could watch those games and come up with a prediction of 0-0 through 3 quarters, but that's where we're at right now. As Kiski looks like they're set up in that confusion formation again. Here's Johnson in the backfield. He's going to take him himself again. And there's not much room to run there. It's the 3rd time we've seen that confusion formation, if you will. And not much out of it as Johnson was able to get back maybe to the line of scrimmage.
It almost looked like the Kiski might run a screen pass toward the near sideline. Obviously, the receiver faked that he was going to catch the ball. Didn't throw anybody off as Johnson ran right up the middle.
We've seen head coach Sam Albert run the different confusion formations in the past. And that one was the first time we've seen that all year. Here's Wilkins up the middle, maybe to the 30-yard line. As I was saying, we saw some different confusion formations out of Sam Albert on some goal line formations, some extra points. But that is the first time we've seen that style of confusion this year. Yeah, you basically have 3 wide receivers on each side.
Yeah, my question is, how long till they throw a ball out there and see what happens?
Yeah, every time it's been a run up the middle by Logan Johnson. And here's Johnson faking the quick screen to Hilty, looking for Hindley. And the pass is thrown to Hindley. It looks like it fell to the ground before Hindley could come up with it. Flag on the play. A lot of confusion here. And it is holding against Kiski. So Kiski going to get pushed back 5 yards. And it'll bring up 3rd and 12.
Oh, Mark, it seems like the story of the second half so far has been flags.
Yes.
Ending any chance of having successful drive. Both Kiski and West Allegheny's done a little more, shooting herself in the foot with those penalties.
The first few flags were against the West Allegheny offense. This time, yellow against the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers are going to be forced to punt as that flag was declined. So rather than a 4th and 12, it's a 4th and 7. And Cody Dykes is set to punt again for the Cavaliers. Here's Dykes. High spiraling kick. Great job by Cody Dykes. Landing at the 23 and rolling inside the 20. Down by Eddie Coleman at the 19-yard line. Great punt by Cody Dykes.
Yeah, that shows why Kiski has an all-conference punter. You've mentioned it 2 or 3 times tonight. Because of that, flipping the script, instead of maybe West Allegheny getting the ball around the 35 to 40-yard line, it's now they're pinned pretty deep.
Just got official word from our scoreboard extraordinaire that there was a 5-second hang time on that punt. So, tremendous job by Cody Dykes to push West Allegheny inside deep, backs against the wall at the 19-yard line. 1st and 10. Here's a handoff. That's number 4, Jay-Sean Spencer. Spencer still on his feet. Tried the left side, but several blue jerseys swallowed him up. And that'll be no gain. 2nd and 10. 8:50 and counting in a scoreless 4th quarter.
We might be seeing some overtime action tonight.
0-0 is your score right now as the clock continues to tick away. 2nd and 10 from the 20 for West Allegheny. Handoff. That is to Tracy. Tracy loses his footing and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Indeed, he did. So 3rd and 10 now with just over 8 minutes to go. Not much doing for the West Allegheny rushing attack on this drive.
3rd down and 10.
Spencer and Tracy both coming up empty on 2 consecutive runs. Here's 3rd down. West Allegheny looking down the field. Pass intended for number 9, Brennan McClafferty, and almost picked off by the Kiski area defender.
So it was a tough decision there to throw, but West Allegheny, I'll give them credit for changing things up. Double or triple coverage all over that football.
Gage Upton.
It would have been a miracle if that was caught.
Gage Upton, the backup quarterback, tried to find a guy down the left sideline. That was McClafferty, and nothing doing. So now West Allegheny will be forced to punt again. Here's the Nino waiting at his own 40. Looked like the punt was tipped. That kick might have been tipped by a Kiski area player. And the Cavaliers are going to come up with some great field position yet again, as the offense will take over this time from the 40-yard line. Checking the replay on this kick. Not quite sure if that was blocked. Can't tell from the replay, but there was definitely a Kiski area player in on that kick. Might have got a hand on it, might not have, but Kiski will get great field position with 7:36 to go. Here's Johnson in the shotgun. Got a hand off to Wilkins. Wilkins lowers his shoulder and plows his way across the 40 up to the 37-yard line. Gain of 3.
Now, when I look back at the replay, when I look at the screen here, the broadcast, it's delayed a little. Did not see a hand of a Kiski Cavalier on the football. Might have been close. Okay. I don't have the best view in the stadium, but.
So not the best punt by Derek Curry. And the Cavaliers have a 2nd and 7. That's Dunmeyer in motion. And that's Wilkins again on the carry. Wilkins finds a seam, and he's going to go. Brock Wilkins finds his way into the end zone for a Kiski area touchdown. Brock Wilkins with a touchdown run to give the Cavaliers the first score of the night. 6-0 Kiski leads with 6:48 to go.
Brock Wilkins just set this place into a frenzy.
What a run by Brock Wilkins, 40 yards up the middle and into the end zone for the first touchdown of the evening. Here's Cody Dykes set to kick, and it is good as the Cavaliers lead 7-0 with 6:48 to go in the 4th quarter. What a run by Brock Wilkins.
Well, I think we got a new front runner for our play of the game and player of the game after that.
I think you're right, as both offenses have struggled here to really do much. They've had moments where it appeared as if they were going to get something going. It's been all defense all the time, but Brock Wilkins is able to finally break the scoreless tie as he ran 40 yards for the Cavalier touchdown.
For the touchdown.
7-0 is your score as the Cavaliers get set to kick. We saw the Cavaliers kick off one time this evening, and that was the opening kickoff. It was an onside kick by Cody Dykes that was recovered by Kiski area. And if you're familiar with the Cavaliers, Cody Dykes has many different types of onside kicks or variations of kickoffs, so it'll be interesting to see what the Cavaliers do here. Here's Dykes. Another big bouncing squib off an Indians player. It's loose at the 25. That's number 22 that's on his feet for the Indians, Roman Police. Police was able to find the ball, work his array around the left side, and as you saw, a monster hit and 2 flags on the field. A lot of excitement on that kick as Cody Dykes sent a hard line drive squib kick down the left sideline. It bounced off an Indian player into Police's hands. Police was able to gather and find some room over on the left side. And as he did, a humongous block by one of the Indians' players illegally on Kiski area.
Yeah, it looked brutal. Maybe take the elbow or the helmet.
You definitely, I don't know if you could hear the crowd through our microphones, but it was a big reaction to that hit. And as I said, an illegal one at that. As West Allegheny is now going to start from the 13-yard line.
First and 10. For the Indians.
Nowhere to go. And guess who it is? Braden Dunmeyer again for the Cavaliers, as Noden Tracy had nowhere to go. Braden Dunmeyer comes up with a big tackle yet again for the Cavaliers defense. Loss of 3 on the play. And the Indians are now at the 10-yard line.
Ball sits at the 10-yard line, second down.
2nd and 13 with just under 6 minutes to go. Here's a handoff. I believe that's Spencer. No, that is number 7, Brock Cornell, making his first carry of the evening. Cornell worked his way up towards the 25-yard line. Caught a gain of 8 on the play. Brings up a 3rd and 5 with 5:30 and counting. Kiski leads 7-0.
Third down, and 5.
3rd and 5. Flags on the play again. Whistle as the ball was being snapped. Flags by numerous referees.
Multiple flags here. Take a look.
2 or 3 flags on the play. The refs will discuss, and we'll wait for a signal. 5:15 on the clock. Kiski leads 7-0. The Indians were faced with a 3rd and 5 before the flags came out. Still waiting for a signal.
So that one of the flags is against Kiski with the the far end. It was a jump.
So it's going to be offsides against the Cavaliers. And a sideline violation. I believe that's just a warning. Or is that a flag? So the first flag was against the Cavaliers. And the second flag was on the West Allegheny sideline. And that'll bring up a 1st and 10. So I believe that that flag was just a warning on West Allegheny. So it's 1st and 10 for the Indians offense at the 23. Here's Cornell again. And Cornell is surrounded by several Cavaliers defenders. I believe led by Brock Wilkins and Lawhorn Moore. Loss of 2 on the carry.
Hey, West Allegheny going to find a way to bounce back after getting some help on penalties. Normally they've hurt themselves with penalties while on offense. A breath of fresh air with 4.5 minutes left. They're going to get on the board here. It's going to be in the end zone.
2nd and 11. Here's a quick toss. That's to Spencer. Spencer tries his way around the right side. And a big tackle by LeBrin Smith. LeBrin Smith with a great open field tackle to get Spencer off of his feet. Call it 3rd and 8 from the 26. 3:45 and counting.
West Allegheny 26-yard line.
Both teams have 2 timeouts as we approach 3:30 on the clock. Here's Upton. Pass intended and complete, I believe, to Tracy for a yard or 2. Can't quite see the number and can't quite see if it was signaled a completion. It looks like it will be a completed pass. And we're going to go with a timeout, West Allegheny. So the pass was complete for a gain of 1, maybe 2. And West Allegheny will be faced with a 4th and 7 from the 27 with 3:04 remaining.
I can't doubt they're going to go for it now. It's everything you got.
Definitely a tough situation for West Allegheny. They just used their second timeout. They trail 7-0, and they're faced with a long 4th down. It would be hard to punt in this situation.
Yes, it was an interesting formation there. West Allegheny sent 3 receivers out to that far sideline. I don't believe I've seen them do that all night so far, have 3 receivers on one side.
I agree with you. We haven't seen much from the passing attack of West Allegheny. Again, we've mentioned senior quarterback Gavin Miller's name numerous times. Apologize, not sure why he has not been on the field, but it has been backup Gage Upton every time West Allegheny wanted to throw. And indeed, this is Upton again in shotgun with 3 wide receivers, this time on the right side. Upton looking to throw, and this time it's complete. That pass was caught by Noden Tracy. Great throw and catch by Upton to Tracy, and a huge first down for the Indians.
Even from pregame, we've been talking about Tracy, a guy who's one of the top scorers for this West Allegheny offense. Has been on fire all season.
Junior Noden Tracy with a big catch and a new set of downs for West Allegheny. Here's Upton. Pass intended for Tracy again was tipped and falls to the ground, incomplete. Don Danino was in over on that pass deflection, and I believe that was Braden Dunmeyer in the backfield. Dunmire hit Upton as he threw that ball. Give Gage Upton some credit as he stood in there. Big Braden Dunmire staring him down. But unfortunately for West Allegheny, the pass fell incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line. Here's Upton again. Rolling right. He's throwing into traffic, in and out of the hands of LeBrin Smith. LeBrin Smith had an easy interception right around the 40-yard line. And fortunately for the Cavaliers, Noden Tracy was unable to come up with it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a play.
It's even breaking up by the Kiski too, and Tracy, he seems to be West Allegheny's guy right now. They're going to him every play.
3rd and 10.
Cavaliers with 5, he leads the Indians with 5 touchdowns.
2:23 remaining. Here's Upton. Across the middle. Caught by Tracy. Tracy, forward progress is going to give him the 45-yard line. And it's going to bring up a 4th and 4. 4th and 4 with the clock just under 2 minutes. West Allegheny has 1 timeout. Kiski area has 2. Your Cavaliers lead 7-0. Here's 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. This is Upton looking to pass. In and out of the hands of Ford, and the Cavaliers will take over. That pass was to Matt Ford, and Ford looked to get upfield before he secured the catch. And Cavaliers will take over on downs from their own 45-yard line.
Wow. Just, if that ball is corralled and held in, it's a big receiver they had. Maybe you have a chance of getting that first down.
Matt, to your point, Matt Ford was about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down marker where he would have made that catch. But as you said, a big guy that seemed to have a little bit of room. Fortunately for the Cavaliers, he was unable to hold on.
It's a tough situation all around.
So Kiski area, that's Brock Wilkins with the direct snap. Lowers his shoulder and fights his way up towards the 50-yard line. 1:29 and counting. Ball spotted at midfield. West Allegheny with 1 timeout. Play clock at 25. Game clock at 1:16. Cavaliers faced with a 2nd and 5. 1 first down will seal the game. Here's Wilkins again in the shotgun. He takes the snap, goes straight ahead, finds a seam off the right side, across the 30, down around the 25, and that should be enough. Kiski area with a new set of downs with 47 seconds to go.
Well, I mean, why not one big run for the man himself, Brock Wilkins? I mean, probably, I don't know, it's not official, not a lock for the player of the game yet.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You mentioned Brock Wilkins as a potential player of the game, and it's not official for another 30 seconds, but I believe that run could have sealed the award as Kiski area lines up in victory formation. 15 seconds to go. West Allegheny has 1 timeout, and that'll be it. The battle of the unbeatens, homecoming edition, and the victory will go to Kiski area. 7-0. The Cavaliers prevail.
Well, what a night for Kiski, improving to 5-0. Not an upset Kiski fan in the stands tonight.
Kiski area, as you said, improves to 5-0 for the first time since 2002 with a 7-0 victory over West Allegheny. What a contest.
Yeah, We're going to give all the credit to Coach Sam Albert for Kiski turning this program into something extraordinary. And now, conference play coming up next week.
The last non-conference game on the schedule, and the Cavaliers add another victory as Kiski area improves to 5-0. And we touched on it a few times. I think it's easy to make it official now. Brock Wilkins with his 40-yard touchdown run with 6:38 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the final nail in the coffin here on the final drive is your High Top Sports Ramsey's Place player of the game. So congratulations to Brock Wilkins. You now have a free haircut.
Probably give him play of the game, too, with that touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. We summed it all up in one, but it's definitely one play and two awards. So Brock Wilkins is not only your player of the game, but that 40-yard touchdown run is also your play of the game, your Chip Stove Shop play of the game. Unfortunately for Brock Wilkins, there's no free stove involved. But
that would be something else.
But I think he's going to be more than happy to take his free haircut and the victory as the Cavaliers improve to 5-0 for the first time in almost 2 decades.
Yeah. This program is just prepared for a career year.
Yes, it is. It's been very exciting so far as you see the Cavaliers players celebrating on the track in front of their home crowd. A borderline capacity crowd on our side, as we mentioned early on.
And not a bad turnout for West Allegheny either. I saw they had a fairly sized student section.
You're right. After we mentioned it in the early going, the stands on the visitor side started filling up a little bit more than what it was when we first mentioned it. But very, very, very exciting night for the home fans as Kiski area is going to go home with a 7-0 victory. That is the third game this season that the Cavaliers defense has allowed a touchdown or less. The first shutout of the year for the Cavaliers defense. And that's a shutout against an offense that has scored over 100 points in 3 games. And as we mentioned, senior quarterback Gavin Miller was absent. But that's taking away nothing from the Cavalier defense as they are able to shut down West Allegheny and lead Kiski area to the victory. Closing remarks, Mason, anything to add?
I can't wait to see what this team does next week, you know. On the edge of your seats for this one tonight, there's not much more you can be excited for than, hey, I want to watch another game. When's the next one?
I agree with you, Bud. We talked about it. The Cavaliers, were known for their defense, and certainly tonight they showed it yet again. But the offense has done enough to help this be a multi-dimensional Kiski area team. And instead of a one-sided defensive squad, this is a Cavalier team that has shown you they can get it done on both sides of the ball. So Kiski area will get set this week to play North Hills, I believe, at North Hills. So the Cavaliers will take their show on the road and look to improve to 5-0. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll bring you just a little bit more post-game as you're listening to the home of Cavalier football, undefeated Cavalier football, High Top Sports Network.
Shop and Save at Franklin Village is a family-owned, community-dedicated supermarket with a wide variety of quality food and friendly personnel to make your shopping experience easy. Stop by their award-winning butcher shop where you'll find the freshest cuts of USDA-inspected beef, pork, and poultry. Head to the bakery for the freshest bread and rolls, and don't forget to stop by the deli for an excellent selection of cold cuts, meats, cheeses, and prepared foods like their fantastic fried chicken. That's Shop and Save at Franklin Village.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
Welcome back to Richard Diltz Field as you watch the Cavaliers improve to 5-0 with a 7-0 victory over West Allegheny. Pretty easy to recap the scoring tonight. Brock Wilkins, our player of the game, with the play of the game, a 40-yard touchdown run with 6:38 remaining in the fourth quarter. And that was all for the scoring for both teams as the Cavaliers grab a victory in their final non-conference game of the season. An exciting game if you like defense, if you like a back-and-forth game with limited offense. As limited as the offense was, there were several times throughout the game where we saw both offenses appear like they were going to have a chance to get things going. We saw Kiski with a potential touchdown dropped in the end zone early in the first half. A few times the Indians had drives going into Cavalier territory, and we thought, this is going to be, where they can maybe put some points on the board. But great defensive stops by the Cavalier defense and some costly penalties. And West Allegheny was able to get nothing, no points.
Yes, it's just Kiski. The defense, outstanding. The offense, they were the most outstanding one here tonight.
We talked about Logan Johnson. He had an interception for the Kiski area defense. He adds his name to a long list of Kiski defenders who have interceptions this year. And certainly Braden Dunmeyer, great job from the middle linebacker position, holding seniors Jay Sean Spencer and junior Noden Tracy to well under their season average in terms of rushing yards. And it was Brock Wilkins with the lone touchdown, your Ramsey's Place player of the game, and your Chip Stove play of the game. Ramsey's Place is the premier barbershop in the AK Valley, located at 300 Sycamore Street in Vandegrift. Ramsey's Place also offers women's haircuts, hair coloring, manicures, pedicures, products, and more. Open Tuesday through Saturday, Ramsey's Place is your one-stop shop for styling the entire family. Book an appointment directly through their Facebook page, Ramsey's Place, or call 724-571-7368. So Brock Wilkins is going to be able to call and get his free haircut as he was our High Top Sports player of the game. And I'm looking forward to next week's game at North Hills.
Yeah, he can call in and come back Friday night. He'll look a little fresh.
So Brock Wilkins indeed will look fresh, and I'm sure that Kiski defense will be fresh. Another fresh test as they open conference play against North Hills on the road. And you'll find it here on the home of Cavalier Sports, High Top Sports Network. So for Mason Flanagan, I'm Mark Flem. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week as Kiski area improves to 4-0. Battling North Hills next week. You'll hear it here on High Top Sports.